All right, thank you for staying with us. It's still Sports Tonight, the Thursday night edition of the show. If you just joined us, you've missed a little, but there's still a lot more for you to enjoy with my guests already seated here, Wale Adigun, and of course, Yemi Adebayo. Guys, I think we should start off with the most current issue, which is what got concluded a few minutes ago. The draw for the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations was held in Libreville today. And as you can see on your screen, that's the full fixture. We're going to be having 12 groups. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. 12 groups in all. Of interest to us, guys, look at Group E. Take a good look at Group E, guys. I'm sure you can see Group E there. Yeah. Nigeria, of course, we were in pot 1 coming into this draw. And we're going to be up in the same group with Afrique du Sud, okay, South Africa, Libya, and Seychelles. All right, that's of interest to us. The last time, regrettably, that South Africa was in the same group with us for the Nations Cup qualifiers, we didn't make it. So we should be careful and not take anything for granted. Let me get your thoughts very quickly on that one.
I hope we don't, you know, this will show if we've really learned our lessons. You know, we were not at the last 2 editions, and that's bad enough. But the way things have been going with the Super Eagles of late, you might want to sit down and relax and say everything will be all right. But experience has taught us that we should always be on our toes. You know, ordinarily when you look at the draw, you smile and say these countries, they are in for a hiding. But experience has shown us that even lesser teams have, you know, robbed us of what used to be an easy route to the Nations Cup. Some years ago, you will have, you know, put your money, your life, and everything on it, that you close your eyes and Nigeria will qualify for the Nations Cup. But it's not happening anymore.
We've missed 3 in the last 7
yeah, so
years.
So I'm just hoping we'll put our house in order. But now what can make you smile is the fact that we have quality players. We have a coach who seems to understand his players, has a good knowledge of the game, and is also a father figure to the boys. All of that. The signs are good. The times are right. The signs are good. But then again, once beaten, you know, twice shy.
In the last 5 years, Wale, we've missed out on 3 editions of the Nations Cup. Yeah. And on all occasions, it's been more of pressing the self-destruct button for us.
Exactly.
Than our team not being good enough to qualify.
Yeah.
We always change coaches in the middle of the qualifiers. When we first missed out on 2012, Samson Siasia wasn't the man who started the qualifiers. Lost the game, which eventually proved crucial. Yeah. And then we drew our last game at home to Guinea. We missed out. 2015, crisis in the football house. The sports minister was on one side, Aminu Megari-led board was on the other side. We didn't know who was in charge, and then we lost crucial games at home.
We came back from the World Cup. The trouble was brewing.
The World Cup trouble.
We never recovered.
It's
always self-destruct.
And then let me end it. This last one.
We know this last one.
What was the story of the last one? How many coaches?
You know, we had like 3 coaches.
Keshi started, Olise picked it up, Siasia ended it, so, and then we missed out. And Chad withdrew.
Yeah, that was also a crucial factor. But we also must know something that sometimes being at the Nations Cup sometimes is always a blessing in disguise. That's what I think sometimes.
Missing out?
Missing out sometimes. But I'm not saying that is always the reason. Case. Yeah, that's not our own case. I hope we don't press self-destruct button this time around. Looks like we're getting things right. But what is key for us is consistency, continuity, as far as the manager is concerned. Because if we have continuity at managerial level, he has the same crop of players. But when you bring in another coach, it was evident in also qualifying for Gabon 2017. Because Keshi had his own players, Siasia came with his own players.
Olise took over from
Olise also brought his own players too. So there was no continuity. And also another crucial factor here is that we need to improve on our travels. We struggle away from home on the continent. I know we defeated Zambia. Great result.
But that's one in how many
games?
Yeah,
but if you look...
Even at the height of our power.
Historically...
Yeah, but then we still manage to get those results on the road sometimes.
We do.
We beat Congo, remember?
Yes.
They beat us there. But that was where the damage was done. We beat them.
But to what end?
Congo.
To what end? Those wins.
And if we had continued with our form after beating Congo, it was just for us to beat South Africa at home.
Yeah.
We will have qualified.
But all in all, I think it's a fair draw. I think we've always got South Africa's numbers anytime, any day.
But they got our number the last time.
Yeah, they did beat us. But we know that we have their numbers. See, don't let us do analysis paralysis. Say we have South Africa's numbers. I don't want to argue about that.
Yeah. They have some troubles.
They have troubles with their manager right now. They don't have a manager right now. They've got looking for a coach. But they
have a decent team.
They have a decent team. Kigan Donley and the rest of the guys in there. I think we'll take advantage of Libya's troubles, political troubles, rubbing off on the team.
Probably play at a neutral ground.
Yeah.
From Libya.
Then Seychelles. We just go there and enjoy.
Easy pickings.
Yeah, we'll go there and enjoy.
See these guys, you see what they're saying? Easy pickings, you see what they're saying? I don't want to agree with these guys. Look at what they're saying. They're saying easy pickings. Well, let's tell you about the match days. For those of you who want to keep track of what the Eagles will be doing, there will be a preliminary round. Nigeria is not involved with that one. Preliminary round will be in March 2017.
And
we are not involved.
And there's nobody in our group that is involved in the preliminary rounds.
There's nobody in our group involved in the preliminary rounds. We have the 4 teams already in our group. So our first game in the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations will be between June 5 and June 13. All right, that's when we'll play our first game. And then after that, we'll move all our games to 2018. So for now, what we should be bothered about is just one game in the 2019 AFCON qualifiers. We can still keep our focus on the World Cup qualifiers that will be taking center stage for most of the year. So the only time we'll be playing the 2019 AFCON qualifiers this year will be in June, second week of June, I think, between June 5 and June 13, 2017. Then match day 2 is March 2018. Match day 3 and 4, September 2018 is a long time away. Match day 5 is October 2018 after the World Cup. Match day 3, 4, 5, and 6 after the World Cup in 2018. So there's still a lot of time for us. The only thing we'll be bothered about this year is March day 1. That's June 2017.
And we can build momentum from the World Cup.
Yeah, of course.
A good World Cup shows that we're going to go into the qualifiers.
But my worries is I hope we don't carry any baggage from the World Cup.
Before the World Cup, we'll have played 2 games.
Yeah.
We'll have done 2 match days. The one in June this year and the one in March 2018. Then we'll have the World Cup. Then we'll come back and avoid what we did in 2014, where the World Cup baggage affected
That's
us.
the problem.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you. Our problems are never because we don't have the players. You might have 1 or 2 areas where we struggle with, but we've always been blessed with a good team. I'm thinking in 2018 there might be an election in the football house. I'm looking at. I'm hoping there won't be any baggage from the World Cup. I hope we do well.
To avoid.
And I'm hoping that all of those things, I guess if we do well in Russia, maybe the elections will go on smoothly. There won't be any other, so we can just go back into the qualification seamlessly into the qualification without any baggage of I want to chase this. The minister on one side, the FA on one side, the coaches on one side. At some point there was a coach quoted as saying, "I don't even know which faction I'm working for." All of those kind of things. You don't want to have it. So I'm hoping that we get to do well. This is a good time for Nigeria. This is a very, very good time for Nigeria. A lot of players are emerging from left, right, and center. And you have a coach who seems to just, appeal to the players. And all of those things. So I'm more afraid, not for what will happen on the field, but for the political side.
And exactly what we said about the self-destruct button. So your own worry is not about the players and what we'll do on the pitch. No. It's about those who will have their hands on the self-destruct button
and press.
And we want to press. So this is the time for us to begin to plan and ensure that doesn't happen. All right. So what this means is that in March, the fears that we may not be able to have our friendly against Senegal is now doused. That is not gonna. We can now play our friendly. There's a window in March, which will now be used by the Eagles to play against Senegal. So I think that game will go on now because the initial fears was that these qualifiers will disrupt it. So it won't disrupt it. We can go on with our friendly game against Senegal. All right. So talk to us about it. How do you want us to approach this? What do we do to avoid the mistakes of the past and ensure we are able to qualify for the Nations Cup in 2019 in style? And how do you want us to make sure we don't lose focus of the most important thing in 2017, which is qualifying for the 2018 World Cup in Russia? Well, some good news, guys. The rankings came out today. The Eagles hovering around the same place. We moved up one place. We're 7 in Africa. We're number 50 in the world. We're starting the year. Take note, starting the year in 50th position in the world and number 7 in Africa. Watch out where we'll end the year.
Yeah, it's
sure.
great. It's great. 50 is not bad.
Better than last year.
Better
We're
than last year.
way off.
Last year, and this is finally reflective of the state of our football on the pitch. And even off it, I can say that
it's
confidently.
Even better than this. We are still going on.
You know, things are going well, but the negative effect might be us not participating at AFCON 2017. And the problem now is that, speaking of ranking points, I think we have 615, or we have 617, or 619. But Burkina Faso are just 2 behind us. Burkina Faso.
But they were on the same level with us the other time.
Yeah, we're joint.
They are on their way down. It depends on how well they perform at the next.
Yeah, but if they win a couple of games, they are guaranteed to at least get some ranking points that will take them above
Even
us.
the likes of Ghana that are behind us, Morocco that are behind us, have the opportunity of the Nations Cup to move up.
We need them to have a bad tournament. If Ghana, Morocco do have a bad tournament, we are guaranteed to keep our place. You know, but like you said, football returns for us in March, hopefully. That's another avenue to Ghana ranking points. But I like this. I hope we can build on this, because in as much as you don't want to take cognizance of the fact that the ranking is this or that, it gives you confidence. When you know you're in the top 10 in the world, and you know you're top 20, there's some swagger that you take into, you know, some games, and also in terms of organizing matches, you're also a target because they know that you've got good rankings. So I think that this is a reflection of our football, and I hope it continues in 2017.
Apart from bragging rights, I don't really see much into FIFA ranking. Although I would love us to get back.
By the time seedings comes, you know the importance.
I would love us to get back to that era where pre-World Cup and after the World Cup in '94, where we're if we can get back to that, I'll be happy. But at 50, and looking at that, it's a long way. It's a long way to that position. Maybe that's why I'm really not
wowed by this.
But I do believe that.
But if you look back at where we were a few months ago, you should be happy that we're moving forward.
We're on our way up. And I hope the results keep coming for us to just get up there. For now, there's nothing much the FIFA rankings is going to do for us. We're on route qualifying for the World Cup. I hope we get there. So, I mean, till maybe probably the next World Cup. So,
you know why this is also important, Tony? By the time, hopefully, we qualify for the Nations Cup in 2019, a good world ranking. Also important for your for the groupings too. See, you might not know now, but by 2019, when the draws for the Nations Cup will be held, hopefully we'll qualify. The ranking to have a very, very, very huge part.
And your performance on the continent as well.
All right, guys, let's leave the rankings for the future and talk about some of the comments that we're getting on Twitter. Ajibade Boyega at Ajibade_Boyega says the draw is a good one. We must avoid complacency. I agree with him. Guys, anytime we have an easy draw, that's when we
find a way to mess it up.
We find a way to mess things up. When we have a tough draw, we are serious from start to finish.
So finally admit this is easy.
That's why, you know, we have to be careful with these small countries. And then Muiwa said Muiwa at Fields says the group is hard. That's what he says. He says the group is hard. At the Giadefila says, so South Africa won't be qualifying again.
Yeah,
you can assume. How can it be assuming?
Because we are going to qualify.
We are going to qualify, but there will be space for some second place teams at the end of the day to eventually qualify. All right. And Okoyesi Timothy at Lampi_Junior says Nigeria is already through. No one in this group can stop us. See Nigerians though. This is always. Let's just work hard and win our game.
If we decide not to sleep,
that's it.
We're better. We're better than any of those guys.
Junior Emmanuel at King Emako says, hope we make it this time around. That's our hope, that we can make it this time around and not be complacent in any way. All right. Let's go on a quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be coming to talk about the countdown to the season. Remember, we started this on Tuesday. 5 teams every day, focusing, of course, on the build-up to the Nigeria Professional Football League season that is starting this weekend. We'll be talking about 5 more clubs today: Plateau United, Abia Warriors, Raymond Stars, El Kanemi Warriors of Maiduguri, and Nasarawa United are the clubs that we'll be talking about tonight. All right, so we will talk about these teams as we build up to the beginning of the season, and then we'll be back to tell you a lot more on sports tonight.